this video, you may hear a little bit of background noise from my parakeets. I did cover them up, but that does not completely guarantee that they will be quiet. However, if they get too loud, I will cut the video, take that part out so that it doesn't disrupt anyone, because I just want this to be a nice, relaxing experience for you. So I did bring a couple of things I've crocheted so I could show you guys. This is one of my first, actually the first thing I crocheted. It's a little chick. Put some felt wings on its little felt beak, and this was before I had eyes, little plastic eyes, so I just sewed the eyes in with some thread. Her name is Chiquita. I think she's pretty cute. This is very simple to make. I'm sure any one of you could make it. It's only like 1 or 2 stitches required to, well, 1 or 2 types of stitches required to know how to make this. So, yeah, I think anyone could make a cute little guy like this. A bit more advanced, we have this owl. I have not actually completed her yet. I can make some wings, or just add a beak. The beak requires some embroidery or maybe some felt like on the chick, and I haven't gotten around to that yet. But the eyes and all the different cute colors you can do. And then here's one of my favorites. This is Ollie the octopus. I think she's precious and just a cute little purple princess. She's got eye beads, and I embroidered a little mouth for her. Yeah, this was pretty easy to make too. They don't take very long as you know what you're doing. In case anyone was curious, this is the book that I learned how to crochet from. It's called Amigurumi World, and amigurumi, I might be pronouncing that wrong, sorry, are, making little stuffed animals. These 2 patterns I got from this book, and I found the pattern for the little owl on the internet. It's free, and I'll put a link to this pattern in the description, so then if you want to try to make an owl, you can go ahead and do that. Crocheting obviously requires yarn. This is nice purple yarn, my favorite color. The brand here is Red Heart. Red Heart is a fairly common brand of yarn, at least where I live. It's fairly inexpensive. It's not the best yarn, but it definitely gets the job done. The weight of yarn, that means the size pretty much, that you'll most likely want to be using is worsted weight yarn. That's the standard yarn size for most of these crochet patterns, and that's usually what kind of yarn you'll be able to find pretty easily at any craft store or fabric store. The yarn that I wanted to show you guys some crochet with today is this yarn. It's also worsted weight, but I don't have the wrapper for it anymore. I got this quite a few years ago, but I like it because it's all different colors, and it just, see, gradually changes color, and it's actually really good yarn to start out with when you're first crocheting, because different color yarn can really help you see the stitches. I'll have to see if we can zoom in close enough that you can see the stitches when I'm working. Of course, to crochet, you need a crochet hook. This is a size F hook. It's 5 to 3.75 millimeters. Doesn't make that good of a sound, but it's a sound. There's all sorts of different sizes of crochet hooks. This is a relatively small one, depending on what size hook you use. because it will impact the size of your thing that you're making. So this is a good size hook to have. It's easier to start out with bigger hooks, like maybe just a size up from this if you're just starting out would be good. But this is a pretty good size. Also, if you're gonna crochet, it's good to have a stitch counter so that you don't lose your place. This one's a nice basic one. You can move the numbers and start out, get 0, 0, then just move them along as you crochet so you don't lose your spot. They also make some automatic counters where you just click the thing at the top, but I think this is a bit more quaint and I like that. Let's go with this first. This here is a box of stitch markers. You can put them inside your crochet stitch so you don't lose your spot. They're pretty gummy little pink things, and they just close like this, and you can put them through a stitch and then it won't come out. And it also helps, like if you're just doing a row of say 30 single crochets, you can put this at the end of it so you know you don't have to count to 30, you just know when you get back to this you've done 30. These are pretty cool. My little bag of eyes. Sounds kind of creepy, but they're cute when you put them in. Solid black eyes. These are 6mm ones, and I also have 9mm ones. The 9mm ones I think are the most useful, at least for the size of stuff I'm making. And I actually used up all my 9mm eyes. That's what Ollie has. Nice 9mm eyes. These are the 6mm eyes. You can see they're kind of like a screw on the back, and you just press them into these little endings. You put this on the inside, this on the outside, and press it in, and it's virtually impossible to take off. They're called safety eyes so that kids don't choke on them. Still, they're not recommended for children younger than 3, but once you press these on here, it's pretty much not coming off, which is pretty cool. And lastly, for when you're embroidering and sewing different parts on, like sewing on the legs, you're gonna need a yarn needle. These are pretty much just like sewing needles, except a lot bigger. It's still pretty hard to thread them because yarn is a lot thicker, has to go through there. And they're pretty dull. You can pretty much not hurt yourself with them very easily, so that's nice. Alright, now we can start with some of the basic crochet stitches. First we you want to do is make a slip knot. It was really hard for me to learn how to make a slip knot when I first started, so hopefully it'll be easier for you. Just gonna take this, put this over your, behind your loop of yarn, then put your 2 fingers through and grab down here and pull this through like that. Then you slip your hook in here, pull that, and don't make it too tight, but don't make it too loose either. About like that, depending on how big you want your stitches to turn out. And I think I hold my yarn and hook in a bit of an unconventional way, but as long as it works for you, there's really not a wrong way to do it. And first, the most basic stitch is the chain stitch. You can do some cool things with that, like if you just wanted to make a really basic bracelet, you could do a chain stitch. Let's see if I can get in close here. Okay, so you're gonna take your yarn, loop it around the hook like that, and then you're gonna take this little guy and pull your hook with the yarn on it through. That makes 1 chain. Let's do it again. I hope that this is a good distance away that you can see what's going on. I hope it's not blurry for you. See, it's just making this chain of stitches. And you could keep going on like this for a while. Make a bracelet or a rope, whatever you wanted. So there's this nice little chain. It's pretty basic. And this is a good way to see the stitches. You can kind of see that they're like little V's. Here's a V, here's a V. And when you do single crochet, the fundamental stitch of crochet, there's 2 ways that you can do it. So the way I do it that I think is easiest is to go into the middle of the V. So right between the 2 stitches, go inside. So it looks like this. And then yarn over and pull through. And then you yarn over and pull through both. But I think the more conventional way to do this, let's tear that one out, is to go through both of the V's. So you go through the bottom one. This is a bit hard for me, I'm out of practice with this. Go through the bottom one and go through the top one. And then you see you have your stitch down here, and then 2 here, and then the back there. And then you just yarn over, pull through both of those, then you have 2, and then pull through. Sometimes it gets stuck. Pull through both of those. There you go. Alright. So, once you've chosen how you're going to do your single crochets, you can start to work it around to make an amigurumi. If you're making like a blanket or a scarf, you won't be working in a round, but that's how I'm familiar with, so that's what we're gonna go over. Now, you don't need this many on a chain to do what we're gonna do today, so we're just gonna pull some out. Just nice and slow. If you make a mistake, you can pull some out. And I'm just gonna go until we have 2. Okay? Okay. Looks like I went a bit too far. We only have 1. So I'm just gonna make another chain. There we go. looks like I got some on the back one. Usually I don't have this much trouble. Okay, so into there. Then we're gonna yarn over and, oops, gonna yarn over and just pull through. Yarn over and pull through both. Okay. And then we're gonna go back into this first stitch right here. See, this is the same stitch we went in before. We're just gonna go back in here. And then we're gonna yarn over and single crochet again. And I think we're gonna do, let's try 6 single crochets in this same hole. So go back in, and every time you go in, it's gonna get a bit more obvious where you were in before. This can be hard sometimes, but you'll see eventually that it's making a circle. And if it's really hard to find the stitches the first time you try, just keep going and you'll get the hang of it. I know it seems really hard at first to tell what you're doing, but eventually you'll get more familiar with how it looks. And it'll just be second nature to you to know where to make your stitches. Okay, not sure if that was 6, so let's count. Starting here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, looks like we've got 6 stitches right here. You can see 6 little V's. And then you'll have some extra over here, but that will get stitched over. So you're gonna find your last V, and you're gonna stick your hook into that last V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stick your hook in the middle there. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over, pull through again. And that's 1 single crochet. You're on your second row now. And you're gonna keep going along the line until we've done this in all 6. And really you're gonna be following the pattern, but this is a basic way to make a circle. Just go through. Look through. I'm going to experiment with what will happen if I get behind you and try to do this in front of you so you can see what it looks like from the crocheter's perspective. So let's try that real quick. Alright, so here I am behind you. I apologize for my chipped nail polish. I don't have any nail polish remover, so not much I can do about it. But let's see, let's continue with the crocheting. You can see the V's from this perspective now. We're gonna go into this one, poke through, and yarn over, and pull up. Oh, sorry, my thumb's in the way there. Yarn over and pull through both. Okay. Sometimes you'll get a strand of yarn from one of these that doesn't want to go over or wants to go in the wrong place, and you just have to deal with those as they come. Sometimes you have to take individual strands of yarn and help them over the hook, but it's just something you have to deal with. Depends on the yarn too. This yarn is okay about doing that. Sometimes the really soft yarns, the strands don't want to stick together and they just slip and slide all over the place when you're doing this. And if one little strand gets out of place, it's not really that big a deal. You might just have a little loop on your piece. Alright, so this is the single crochet. And now I'm gonna show you how to increase. An increase is basically just a fancy term for when you put 2 single crochets inside one loop. So here, as you can see, one of these stitches open. We're gonna go in the middle of it, just like a normal single crochet. Yarn over, pull through, there's one, and then instead of moving on to this next stitch over here, we're gonna go back in here, and ta-da! You've just done an increase. Now, instead of having 6 stitches in this row, it's gonna have 7, and that's how you'd make your circle bigger, or else it would just kind of turn into a cylinder. So, let's see, we've done the chain, single crochet, increase. Now we can look at a decrease. Decrease is, so now we're at 7. What if you wanted to take it back up to 6? Like if you were making an egg shape, skinny and then fat and then skinny. So what we're gonna do for a decrease is go into our next stitch. We're gonna yarn over, gonna pull through, and then instead of pulling through both of these, we're gonna move on to the next stitch, and we're gonna yarn over it and pull through that loop, and then we're gonna yarn over again and pull through all 3 of these loops. So now we've just consolidated these 2 stitches right here, see 1, 2, and kind of made them one. So now we're back to a row of 6 stitches. Let's do that again so you can see it better. Go in here, yarn over, pull through, go in here, the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over. Sorry about that. And pull through all 3. It can get tricky sometimes. You might have to make them go all through individually depending on how tight your stitches are or your tension. Okay, now that I've decreased twice, this is kind of starting to close in, you can see. So we might want to increase or just do some more single crochets to make this a bit more flat. Let's see. Let's do a couple more just single crochets, and then I'll show you a half double crochet. I probably should have just started out doing this behind you, huh? Let's see. Go through here. Some nice single crochets. We're getting to the purple part of the yarn now. This is my favorite part of the yarn. Nice, soft lavender, easy on the eyes. Alright, now we've got some more stitches to work with. I'll show you a half double crochet. Not sure how this will work when we've already got all this going, but we'll just try it. So in a half double crochet, you're actually going to yarn over before you insert it into the stitch. So we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to insert it into our next stitch. Alright. And now we're going to yarn over again, and we're just going to pull through this first loop, this pink loop here. And then we have these 3 purple loops left. Now we're going to yarn over again and pull through all 3 of these loops. Sometimes kind of hard. Last one, and there we go. And this, I've only used it, I think, for making eyes, like on the owl ad. Those nice little round eyes. Half double crochets are involved and stuff like that. those are kind of some of the basic stitches of crocheting. You can make a lot of things with just those stitches, and once you know those stitches, it's really easy to just go on the internet or look in a book and pick up what the rest of the stitches are. Sometimes it can just be hard to get started in knowing how to recognize the stitches, how to yarn over, pull through all the stitches. Once you're in the groove, it can be pretty easy to just get lost doing this all day, and you can make really cute things for your friends, for yourself, and it can just be a really fun and rewarding experience, and I find it very relaxing too. So I hope you have found this crochet tutorial to be as relaxing as I find crocheting, and I hope that if I make any videos in the future that you will enjoy those as well. Let me know if there's